Welcome to Off-Duty Engineer. I am Alan. This channel is for some of my scale modeling projects, plastic aircraft, wooden ships, and dioramas to display them. This is the detailed build of the scale model of the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk 60-inch wingspan or 1/7 scale. Part 1 of 4. First, the photos of the final result. This model is 1/7 scale with a wingspan of 60 inches or 5 foot or 1.5 meters. This P-40 is a top flight model made in the USA circa 1975. The kit was intended for full radio control standoff competition. I decided to build it for display only, but with full radio control and electric motor for the propeller. The kit was manufactured in about 1975, so the wood is very brittle and the vinyl decals are very old. I decided to build it for show and not for flying. I wanted to add all the radio control servos in with a small electric motor for the prop for effect. I wanted to show as much of the original wood as possible, so the camo green is on part on the outside, but the rest is wood to view. I received this model kit from my late cousin Aubrey in July 2025. It was unbuilt and most of the parts were in the box. A few other parts were later found. A lot of the parts were needed to be sourced. This P-40 kit build is in 5 parts. Each part is about 1 hour. This first video is the final model with the build in photo essay format. Then the other 4 videos are the detailed build. Part 1 of 4. Well, hello, it's Alan here from Off-Duty Engineer. Well, a new project, a new day, new everything. Cleaned up my workbench, and I have this on my desk. So this is a model that was gifted to me. It was actually my cousin living in Melbourne. He passed away a few years ago, and this trickled down and landed on my desk, together with heaps of plans of wooden models, airplanes. So this particular one is a top flight P-40 Warhawk, 60 inches wide, 1/16 scale, balsa wood and other woods. And it is set for radio control, but the radio control gear is not included. So this is kit number RC17 from Top Flight. So I don't know what's in it. I don't know how old it is. I have been through ScaleMates and it appears to come from the original Top Flight model was 1950 something. And I've got no more information from that. Now the 1950s one was a control cord plane. This is a radio control prepared for radio control, so I think it is a later model. So it's probably my cousin, I think, bought it in Melbourne at Hearns Hobbies in the city centre around about 1998. So that's how old this kit is. I'm looking forward to building it. I worked with balsa wood before, so I'm not worried about that part. But because of the age of the wood and the value of the model, it will not be done for full radio control flight. I will build it as a semi-static model. Might put some RC servos into it. I'll have a look. Maybe an electric motor to turn the prop, but it will be a static model, not for flight. Because I don't want to spend this time building this valuable plane and have it crash in a few minutes. So that's not on the mind. So it will be a static display, maybe some parts working, but the issue is I've got no idea what parts are in here, what's complete, what's not complete, what's missing. Certainly no servos in it. Okay, yeah, some of the wood parts, the pre-cut wood parts unpacked. And I must say it doesn't look too bad. you go down these, you can see each part is labeled 2 required, there's the 2 required, there's the 2, and all the rest are 1 required. These are the wing sections. There's 2 sets of them over there, 2 sets of them over there, so that's for the 2 wings. Rest is fuselage and stuff. This is the heavier wood fuselage. See, it's a section through the fuselage. These are also heavier wood, labeled with part numbers. This one 2, F16 and F19, parts of the fuselage. There's 1 required, so that's it. Yeah, turn it around. 1 required. Sections to the fuselage, the F numbers. This is also very thin, but it's broken up a bit. But parts of them are here. I might have to recut a few pieces there of this thin wood. Fuselage, this as well. This one is a W1. Quite complex part. I'm not quite sure. There isn't another W1, so that might be the centerpiece of the wing, where the 2 wings join. Another lot of fuselage parts, and then some heavier wood again, ply, with F numbers on them. So far so good. Of the molded pieces, I have one here that is like a double mold. You can see it through there. A W shape. It might be the wing leading edges, the straight parts of the wings. 2 and 3 used to be the same. V-shaped pieces, similar V-shaped piece, but a bit longer, leading or trailing edges. Some triangular sections, 3 of them there. Here's the other one of that one. And then I've got 2 really hardwood pieces here. Might be the main struts from the left to the right of the wings. It's probably what they would need to keep it together. So that's the molded edges. And then lastly, there's a whole lot of flat and utility pieces, which I'll just roll out and show. Then I spend considerable time on the net chasing down plans, and lo and behold, I find the plans eventually. That's my target plane. Just as a picture. This is actually a picture of a 72-inch, but this will do just fine for me. So this is going to be my target. So amongst other things, of course, I need a metric conversion, the trusty old tools calculator, to convert all inches, various sizes to millimeters, which is what I'm more familiar with. So while going through the kit, I also found that the nose cone, the front cowl, the back part of this is missing. Okay, as is the canopy. Canopy is also missing, clear canopy. The spinner, and of course there's a heap of parts that are not included in the kit, clearly labeled, like the propeller, all the wheels, all the electronics. So on the plan itself, I'll go through it. I found this on the internet. This is just a working copy. It's about 1/3 of the scale, but at least it's one piece that you can read and find out what you're doing. So this is good. Here you can see the canopy that's missing. So I have to source. You can see here the cowl, front cowl, is missing the back piece of it. I have the front piece, but I do not have this back piece here. And the wheels and stuff I can source. So this gives details of the servos, all the wing sections, flaps, the elevators, the ailerons, elevators at the back. This is all shown in detail here. Then I took this and I upscaled it on the printer to 1:1. So this turns out to be quite large. So this, you can show it by my hands. Well, this is the width of the rear stabilizer, 570 millimeters. So I've scaled this. I've broken it up into A3 pages, which I can print on my trusty old inkjet, Canon inkjet, and I've printed the entire set out, all the pieces I need in 1:1 on A3 pages, and then I've stuck it together. So now that gives you the stabilizer, elevators. You go through, just put that aside. There's the tail fin, gives you the hinges, all the control links, detailed dimensions. It's exactly 9.4 inches. You can measure it. 9.4 inches. So happy with that. So I can work on this for the woodwork directly. This is the body itself, the fuselage. See, rolls out to 5 pages. Gives you a complete section, 1:1 scale of outfits together. So all the servos in place. There we go. Wing sections, etc. And then the details along here. That aside, giving an overview. There's the left wing, port wing, there's the starboard wing. Put them together, you end up with a 60-inch wingspan. So this gives you all the sections there, W sections, which match the woodwork. Now the woodwork all matches. Location for the servos, the dowel that is used to fit the wing into the fuselage, 2 screws to screw it in. So, other parts that I have printed are this for the cowl, just to see the details of the dimensions of the cowl. The spinner, shape and the size of the spinner. Propeller is 11-inch propeller. And the canopy. Did this to send out inquiries to source these various pieces. So I have emailed or sourced in the USA, the UK, and in Queensland, Australia. And I think I found somebody that can supply this canopy. You can actually blow mold it. He's got the mold of this plane of 60 inches. There are a few suppliers for the 72-inch version. The 60-inch version, the dimensions are slightly different. And I think I found a guy in Queensland that can make that for me. I've also asked him if he's got this bottom cowl, perhaps, and if he might even have the spinner. Okay, so that is all the pieces that I have so far. What I've then done is I've taken the wood, all the wood pieces, and I've stuck them through the scanner, and I've saved them 1:1 scale, scanned all of these onto images that I can lace them together if we need to recreate any of these sections of wood. See, I've had to stick some of the wood at the back to keep it together because it's absolutely falling apart, some of the pieces, and that's okay, the wing sections. So that I've got a whole lot of blank wood as well. Some came with the kit and with Aubrey's gear, and some I've had to just get from Hobbywood in the local hardware store just to start. These will be to be used for the pin, stabilizer, etc., which I'll start work on first. So I'm waiting for the reply from the Queensland guy about the canopy. If that can be sourced, I'm in. Then we start. Only then will I take any of these pieces out of here. Lastly, I did find this. This is a kit of all the plastic pieces, the horns, the connecting, so forth, servo connections that are required for. There's the 2 bolts that hold the wing in, plastic bolts, various pieces of hardware, and some material for the hinges. I don't think I'll be using those. I don't know how old this material is. I'll be getting proper Dubro hinges, Dubro wheels, etc. So let's wait for the canopy guy to reply, and then we are green for go. Thank you. Okay, so I've started on the stabilizer. So I found this joiner wood there, 1/2 inch by 1/4 inch. and cut it to 4 inches long for the two elevators together. So the elevator is actually shaped that way around. Okay, so this is the only piece joining them. So I might have to put a pin in or something to strengthen it. The stabilizer itself, cut out of 6.5 millimeter wood, a balsa wood. Used a fret saw, marked it out in here first. See the line, the offcut I put in over here. Lined it up, so that's ready to go. And I'm going to CA glue that and let it wait. So to CA glue it, got some non-stick grease paper. And I'll use that to stick it there and let it dry. An assortment of CA glues, Maxicure extra thick, the Zap. This is recommended by just about everybody, made in the States. Slow Zap, and then I've got some medium, and I've got some extra thin. So I'm going to use the Slow Zap now, so it can set. See how it goes. Well, here's the first two pieces glued. The stabilizer, I've kept it straight with the piece of wood, 2 clamps, and pulled it in over here with the elastics. Yeah, so the first bit. So the gluing of the stabilizer went good. I then turned it over and I sanded it down with 100 grit. I then looked at this drawing and I thought it would be nicer if this stabilizer is a little bit thicker on the top, just to catch a slight curve to make it look more realistic. The bottom can be flat, but at least the top I can add a little bit more of a curve to it here. The elevator stays 1/4 inch, 6.5 millimeters, and it'll actually taper down a little bit. So I took some 1/8 inch by 4 balsa, and I then cut it underneath, but cross ply to give it strength. So why not? If I run it the same way, then it's the same strength. But if I cross ply it, it will be slightly stronger. So I've cut them now to fit, and I will glue this and then push it down using wood glue. It's a large surface area. I think the CA is good for edge surfaces and small areas, but for large areas I will use normal plain old wood glue and 2 hours. Some of the work is done in the garage where the dust doesn't affect the workspace inside so much. A few basic tools, some hand tools over there. I've got an offcut saw over there, drop saw, with a tungsten blade in it for wood. I have a drill press, very useful, comes in handy all the time over there, and of course the bench vise. Some of the hand tools I'll show now. I've cut the stabilizers roughly, and now I just need to sort them out in terms of the curve. I've cut them over there, and I just use a basic rasp in the beginning, shape up to the line. Okay, so I've been to the garage. I've cut the tail fin and the rudder. I've done a first pass tidy up. I just want to glue this little piece onto here. I can tidy up the curve completely, and that fits like such. Well, time for a quick update. The stabilizer, I have formed the wood, and I formed this little link between them. You'll see that it fits very well onto the 1:1 scale. That piece, this piece, this piece. I've still got to cut these little corners out there, or the slots, to take that little link piece. There, it fits nicely. What I also did is I was planning to do was I added the 3mm thickness onto here to form the top, give it some sort of a shape. You see it, you can see it's got a bit of a shape to it, and not flat like in the drawing. And in this one, I've chamfered down quite a lot into a wedge. So between them, there's the flat bottom. Okay, I've left the bottom flat in both instances. And then I've rolled this up over there on that edge, and then down with a long slope all the way down. You can see the 3mm that I've added decreases to 0 along there and decreases to 0 along this edge to match the 1/4 inch thickness of this wood. So that's quite interesting, quite nice. It's turned out okay. So the next thing is to fit this. Also thought about was to give it a bit of strength, is to drill and glue a toothpick in at an angle into these over there, just to give it some additional strength than just this edge of gluing. This is all the edge it'll have over there to hold it other than the hinges. But I thought, let me just stick a toothpick through into there and into there to give it some idea or some better strength. And then do the same with the rudder. I've pre-prepared the rudders, the rudder sections like that. They are not finished off yet, they're just raw. Basic sanding. So I'll completely smooth out these, round them off a little bit more, and then they'll be ready for the hinges. And then I will use timber sealer on these surfaces, and then probably another sandpaper again. So the sanding that I've done on here is really rough 800 grit, 80 grit in the beginning, then 120, and then a 400 grit after that. That smoothed it out very nicely. Okay, just a quick catch up. I did finish the rudder. I've got the 45 chamfers in there. Finished it off with 400, and that's ready for some timber sealer, water-based timber sealer, and I'll probably give it another sand down, maybe a second coat of that. The stabilizer and elevators, it's complete, and the elevators, I did push those pins in. I actually didn't use toothpicks, like I said. I actually ended up using 2.5mm stainless steel rod, 45mm long. You can see it just came through there, so I had to touch that up. You can see them in there, the ends, and that has made this thing pretty strong. There's no flex on it at all. You're not even too scared to handle it. So that's ready to go. So let's give it a paint and let's see what it looks like. Well, time to start the wings. This is the first time I'm actually going to use the parts in the kit. The previous parts were just wood that I bought, which I was using. Now we're actually going to start using these parts. So this is a point of no return, committed to build this kit and not leave it in a semi-unboxed state. So I've taken the 1-to-1 printout, my printout, it's 3 A4 pages of one wing. One wing from there to there. And here, and I've covered it with Glad wrap, just to stop the CA sticking to it too much. If it doesn't matter, I'll just print a new one. And here are the wing parts, the ribs. So I have them here. There's 2 of those, 2 of these, and these are the ones I'm going to pop out gently now. Pop them out, clean them up, and start building this wing. Yeah, let's see how that goes. I spoke earlier about the model being very old and the wood being very brittle. Here's an example. This one, I don't know if you can see it. It's cracked all the way down along the grain. There and there. This rib. I had another one just now do the same. This one over here. I've got to glue it back. So that is just running CA thin. Let it wick up into the join. And I'll do the same with this. Take my CA thin. Just open it up a bit so I can see it. Yeah, one has to check every rib, every piece of wood. Well, I've started the layout of the wing spars, the braces, the centerpieces, the everything pieces. I found all the required items, including the landing gear, strengthening bars, which will come later. So I've put the ribs in, starting from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I've laid, that's the bottom spar, the top spar, no, that's the bottom spar. Okay, so that's the bottom over there. And I've even got the wing edge alignment wedge in there, and it's pretty much like the instructions say. So I've used a whole set of dominoes to keep the item square. I've laid them out exactly on here. This is the plan 1-to-1 scale drawing. I did have the glad wrap on top of that, but I found that CA sticks to it anyway, so it's no good. So I've put grease paper on top of that cooking sheet, baking sheet. I'll just put these weights in here just to keep that spar lying flat. I've taped the spar down onto the drawing at exactly where it's got to be, and I've lined these up exactly on the drawing. So next I'm going to drop some CA thin onto those joins there, just to start getting this to sit. Then I'll work it out from there. Probably put the top spar in and the trailing edge. So here's the trailing edge, it's waiting over here for us. That would go on next. Okay, getting fun. So I've left W1 out, of course, because that's when the tubings join. That W1 will come in, and everything will be trimmed to it with the dihedral. Okay. Next catch-up point. I have laid this wing out, glued it, and I have the top brace, the bottom brace, and the trailing edge fixed. I'm using that alignment edge over there and lots of other supports. But yeah, it looks good. So I think I'll put the leading edge on now. And then get the other wing to the same. Yeah, looking good. Quite exciting. Well, completed the basic wing last night. Let it dry. And here we are. Here's the leading edges on. It's ready for the next step. Here she fits onto the plan, the 1-to-1 scale plan. Trailing edge over here, leading edge there. You can see the skin goes from that very tip over there right around to the back there. So there'll be a split over there. That'll be one part of the skin. This will be the other part of the skin. Yeah, looking forward to that. There's the landing gear. the aperture for the landing gear wood. Oh, it just drops in. Haven't tried that before. There it is. There's little strengthening pieces on either side of that and that. Got to go in there. I'm going to try and make this landing gear removable, because if it's fixed, it's going to be a real issue when trying to work on this model and you've got this landing gear sticking out all the time. So I'm going to try and make it removable, and then you can fit it in afterwards. Okay. The rest, there's the holes there for the servo rod. Servo sits over here. The other servo rod through to there for the flaps. There's the one locating section with the one pivot, and there's the one for the other pivot. Okay, so before I tidy this up, I just want to get the other wing to this state as well. Then I'll probably join them with W1 and get the dihedral right. I'll need this whole workbench. So let's do the other wing. There, and in 2 wags of a duck's tail, we have the 2 wings done. So far, it's just a basic frame. There's the one, there's the other. The one's dry from last night, the other one I'll just treat with a bit of care. This one for a while it dries. Yeah, I've looked at the landing gear. What's interesting is that angle there is a bit over 90 degrees. And that is to compensate for the dihedral of the wing to get the downshaft straight. So I've marked which is the wheel side. That's where the wheel goes, because these 2 shafts are different lengths. And I've measured off the plan, and that's the way they fit. I'm going to start seeing if I can make this wheel removable. I can put those pieces in and these strengthening pieces on their sides over there. I think that'll be next. Well, I've got the landing gear mounted now. Landing gear struts. I have devised a way that I can remove them, so I can fix them in now, then remove them and fit them in later when we need them. So here they are. Oh, the little piece at the back, vertical part, and I can actually remove it. I hope this works. There's the one. There's the other. So I can drop this in, and I'm going to cut this piece of wood with a cover strip. The hole in it over there, and I can screw it in over there and over there. 2 screws in to cover it there. So the sheeting will come up to that point from here onwards. That's on both of them. Okay, so I'm quite pleased with that, so I can get these out of the way for the rest of the build. Okay, quick update. I've fitted now the landing gear, glued the piece in there, vertical piece. It's fitted at the moment. I've cut 2 covers, screwed them in on both sides. This is actually now removable. Take those screws out, this all comes out. So I can carry on. I just need to put them back when I skin this to make sure that I skin up to that point from there onwards. Hi, okay, some progress. I've replaced this plan over here of each wing. I've now laid out the entire plan. You can't even see it all. 60 inches wide, spliced together with sticky tape and some cooking sheet on top of it, baking sheet. And I have the 2 wings over here. The next step will be to join these 2 wings together with the dihedral. Dihedral's 2 3/4 inches to the tips. You can see I've not put the tips on, and the reason for that is that I looked at it and the end pieces need to go larger than the skin, so I figured I'd better skin this section first before I do these. Also want to see where the flaps and ailerons fit into this, so it affects the shape of this block. So I've decided to put the blocks in later, and just do the wings first, put them together. Yeah, there you go. Okay, one of the tricks is going to be to keep that leading edge straight, so I'll probably put a long piece of wood down the front there and butt it up against there to keep it straight, and then lift it up with dihedral blocks on the wings there, and then splice these in one at a time. Then glue them with a W1 rib in place. Okay, here's the W1 rib. I can see it. There it is. I'll cut that out and put that in. That's the purpose of today. All right, about 2 steps further, I've marked where the first cut of the bottom spar needs to be cut. I've taken out W1. Fits like that. That's the cutout for the servo, the spars. So that's ready to go. It fits. I've also just prepped the edges at a slight bit of a nose angle, tail angle here to match this over there. And I have measured over here, marked out the 2 3/4 inch dihedral on a straight line from the center, and drawn the dihedral over there to see what the height is going to be. The dihedral will be at W10. So I bring that down and I see it's 2 5/8 inch at W10, which is 60 millimeters. And I've cut 2 blocks of wood, which will serve as the dihedral spaces at each end. They're identical. Such a piece of off-cut Tasmanian oak. Beautiful. Yeah, done with a drop saw in the garage. Cleaned up. So that's ready to go. Well, another few steps. This time very careful. I have this steel square offcut along there that I've used to clamp. You can't see the one side, but the other side I've clamped it the same as this. Clamp the front spar onto it, the leading edge. I've cut these incrementally until they fit. I've put W1 in there. I've lined up everything according to the plan. In fact, to line it up, it is exact to the plan of where these edges should be. So I'm exceedingly chuffed. This side as well. Can't see that side because it extends to the end of the desk. my workbench, my trusty old 50-year-old square. So now I have this all in and ready to actually glue it first pass, and then do some strengthening up here in the middle so it doesn't just flop apart. I'll take the advice of the plan where to put strengthening pieces in. Also, it is interesting, so I've got these 60mm dihedral blocks on each side, which work well. Okay, quick catch up again. I decided to strengthen this join in the middle here. So I actually cut two pieces of ply and I layered them. One goes from there to there, and the other one next to it goes from there to there to thicken it. I sliced into these ribs over there and dropped it in, glued it on the way in. It is now going to be really, really strong. Put these two black blocks in. To mark that out, actually did it over here, transferred all these dimensions here. I took a level, saw what the drop was, shaped the piece over here, cut the two, one in front of the other, and I dropped them in. So I think that's going to be really, really strong now. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, one final look at the wing structure. I've now cleaned it all up and it's ready to go. There it is. Just as the framework, it's ready to go. Just coming back to that main spar. This is the spar that they gave us, the link join. There it was probably 1.5 inches long. And mine over there was 400mm from there to there. And it's doubled up. So yeah, it'll be very strong. It's right on the center of gravity. So it wouldn't make any difference to the dynamics of the plane. Okay. The next part 2 of this build is the fuselage.